In these clips, we see how, under favorable conditions, a well-laid smokescreen can smother a coastal zone. One key takeaway from the March 1943 Battle of the Bismarck Sea is that suppression of the ship's anti-aircraft guns increases a low-altitude bomber's combat effectiveness dramatically. 8 months after that shipping attack, General Kenney's 5th Air Force was tasked with destroying the 40 or so Japanese ships anchored at the harbor in Rabaul. To suppress the harbor's ground anti-aircraft guns, the 5th Air Force will first send in a group of B-25s dropping phosphorus bombs targeting the harbor's anti-aircraft guns. The phosphorus bombs will effectively neutralize the ground crews by cutting their visibility to zero by a smoke screen generated by the phosphorus compound's chemical reaction. With two side benefits, phosphorus is an incendiary medium which could start fires, and its smoke is somewhat incapacitating to ground personnel. The intent of this video is to review the attack plan, phosphorus bomb's characteristics, and the combat effectiveness of the phosphorus smoke screen. This map shows the state of Japanese-controlled territory as of November 1st, 1943, from a 1945 World War II atlas. Rabaul is located here on the island of New Britain. Kenney's 5th Air Force is stationed here on New Guinea. Rabaul is located here on this map of New Britain. This August 1945 Allied Air Force map shows the built-up town of Rabaul, Simpson Harbor, and the location of the 5 Japanese airfields. This mosaic map from a May 1943 impact document shows features of the Rabaul area. This image was taken in January 1943, 11 months prior to the November attack. There are 65 ships identified in the harbor. The airfield is located here in the town-urban area here. The Japanese fleet is docked in a well-protected harbor. This image of the town shoreline was taken on November 2, 1943, during the attack. This page from a 1997 Air Force Museum program document titled General Kenney Reports outlines the Rabaul shipping attack. The November 2, 1943 battle was one of the 3 big significant 5th Air Force missions. The other 2 significant missions include the Battle of the Bismarck Sea convoy bomber strike and the New Guinea Wewak airfield strikes. 75 B-25s and 57 P-38s were sent to destroy the 38 ships in Rabaul's harbor. 4 B-25 squadrons were sent ahead of the ship's strike force. Their job was to neutralize the shore anti-aircraft gun batteries by machine gun strafing attacks and dropping phosphorus smoke bombs on their positions. 5 B-25 squadrons were assigned as ship attackers. All B-25s would be provided P-38 fighter escort. This map outlines the path of the 4 attacking groups of Mitchells and Lightnings. There are 107 Japanese fighters stationed at this airfield. Group 0 Lightnings will conduct a fighter sweep along Path 0. Group 1, 18 escorted B-25s will attack 3 minutes after Group 0's fighter sweep attack. These planes will be strafing and dropping phosphorus bombs to suppress the ground anti-aircraft gun batteries. Groups 2 and 3 are the main strike force of 57 escorted ship-attacking B-25s. These attacks will need to be well-timed and coordinated to take advantage of the smoke screen laid down by Group 1. Since the use of phosphorus bombs as a flat gun suppression tactic was new, the 5th Air Force evaluated its combat effectiveness and summarized the results in this November 1943 document titled Report on the Use of Smoke at Rabaul on November 2, 1943, 5th Air Force. Group 1's phosphorus bomb attack occurred at 1:45 p.m. on November 2, 1943. This is the first use of this type of flak suppression tactic by the 5th Air Force. The plan hinged on the harbor's east, north, and west sides be saturated in smoke immediately prior to the main strike force's B-25 ship attacks. A small corridor will be left open for the main attack forces routing to the harbor. The smoke screen needs to be effective for a minimum of 3 or ideally 5 minutes. M47A2 bombs will be used with white phosphorus as a smoke agent. The phosphorus may cause gun crew casualties and incendiary damage. This page from a 1945 Bomb and Fuses document outlines characteristics in an image of the M47 bomb. The bomb is 49 inches in length, 8.1 inches in diameter, with a wall casing thickness of 60 thousandths of an inch. The smoke bomb version weight equates to 127 pounds when filled with 100 pounds of white phosphorus. This image from a U.S. Army chemical weapons document shows a cross-section of the M47 bomb, its M126 nose fuse, and M7 burster. The burster is filled with a black powder to spread the phosphorus compound when detonated. An M47 bomb. These M47 bombs are loaded on a B-29 Pathfinder to support an incendiary mission to Japan. Each bomb is loaded with 40 pounds of napalm. This page outlines characteristics and a cutaway of the M126 nose fuse. It is set for an instantaneous burst or detonation at target contact. It is armed at 260 vane revolutions. These bombs do not need an igniter like napalm-filled M47 bombs since phosphorus ignites at air contact, as discussed on this page from a November 1944 U.S. Navy smokescreen document. The smoke produced will rise due to the heat produced from the chemical reaction. It also has an anti-personnel and incendiary value. Care should be exercised so that friendly troops are not exposed to the phosphorus smoke. This page from a 1945 19th Tactical Air Command document outlines combat experiences of the M47 phosphorus-filled bombs. On impact, the bomb's white phosphorus particles are expelled 50 feet high. With a dense white smoke cloud several hundred feet high, the phosphorus particles are of various sizes. Anyone within the effective shower zone will become a casualty. The phosphorus particles will burn through multiple layers of clothing and burn skin. Phosphorus may not be a good ground screening agent since it rises, but it is very effective as a ground-to-air screening medium like when it is used in flak neutralization attacks. This page from a June 1945 impact document describes use of the flak-suppressing Kenney cocktails phosphorus bombs in Europe. They are used to suppress German flak positions prior to sending in a B-25 strike force. These three flak positions in Italy are smothered by phosphorus smoke screens. When the M47 phosphorus bomb strikes the target, the particles are scattered over a 50 to 100-foot radius. A dense white cloud will form, obscuring visibility. The Germans feared these bombs, although they could not be considered lethal. The smoke affects a person's vision and lungs. The particles can also cause burns if the skin is not protected. Flak gunners will abandon their positions if under a phosphorus bomb attack, as discussed in this 1945 flak neutralization document. A single detonating M47 bomb will scatter the burning phosphorus compound over a 4,000 square yard area. This image shows the smoke rising from the detonation of a single phosphorus-filled M47 bomb, the smoke rising from two phosphorus-filled M47 bombs after 2.5 minutes. This is a windy day. The smoke rising from 6 phosphorus-filled M47 bombs after 2 minutes and 15 seconds. The screen was considered effective for 10 minutes. 18 B-25s, each carrying 12 M47s, were used in the smokescreen attacks. That's a total of 216 M47 phosphorus bombs. The bombs were released at an altitude of 100 feet at an intervalometer spacing of 200 feet for maximum smoke coverage. The bombs were fused for an instantaneous detonation, and the M7 burster's explosive fill was reduced by half. The reduction is needed to minimize the blast hazard to the low-flying bombers and increase the phosphorus compound's burn time. At the time of the attack, the wind was at a very low speed, the temperature was around 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and the day was fairly clear. The individual phosphorus smoke bomb clouds joined up into two larger smoke screen clouds, each 3/4 of a mile long, at the sides of the harbor. The smoke from the bombs and fires were considered effective in suppressing the guns for around 14 minutes. These smoke screens rose 400 to 500 feet. Since the flak positions were strafed and fragmentation bombed, it is difficult to estimate the damage of the phosphorus bombs, but fires were still burning 2 days after the attack. This image shows a view of the harbor with the two shore-based phosphorus smokescreen clouds, each 3/4 of a mile wide and 500 feet high. A view of the harbor just after Group 1's phosphorus attack. A view after Group 2's B-25 ship attacking Pass. The phosphorus smokescreens are well developed, and a couple ships have been struck by bombs. Another view of the harbor ships and the phosphorus smokescreen in action. A freighter damaged by a bomb. An image from Group 3's later attack where the shore fire smoke is now blending in with the white phosphorus smoke. The white phosphorus smoke is dissipating and the shore fire smoke is increasing. This page describes the effectiveness of the smoke screen. All phases of the attack were successful. The smoke screens were considered effective, as only one of the 9 B-25s lost that day were attributed to shore anti-aircraft fire. The phosphorus bombs likely caused many ground personnel casualties and town fires. The phosphorus-filled M47 bombs produced very effective smoke screens. The 200-foot intervalometer setting is just right when the bombs are used in low wind conditions, and the M7 black powder burster at half strength works best. This page summarizes the results of the attack. The smoke bombs were effective in carpeting the gun batteries with smoke and setting most of the town on fire. 30 vessels out of the 38 in the harbor took bomb strikes. Kenney considered this battle the hardest fought engagement of the war. In 12 minutes, he claimed destroyed 114,000 tons of shipping, destroyed 85 Japanese airplanes, burned half of the town down, and destroyed 300,000 tons of supplies. This image shows the status of the 41 ships in the harbor at battle's end. The 6 destroyed ships are highlighted here, 4 badly damaged here, 14 damaged here, and 9 undamaged here. This page from a 1996 Air Force report on the air war in the Pacific tempers the battle claim results. The Japanese lost only 20 aircraft and 5,000 tons of shipping for the loss of 9 B-29s and 10 P-38s. As clearly shown in this and the Wewak and Bismarck sea battles, General Kenney used well-coordinated attacks, innovative tactics, and armaments as a force multiplier in destroying his opponent. If you have found this Phosphorus bomb smokescreen Rabaul attack narration interesting and informative, please consider supporting the channel by commenting, liking, and/or subscribing to World War II U.S. Bombers.